Hello, everyone. My name is Mossy. This is the first episode in a series of interviews that I'm going to be doing with members of the Overwatch community. Overview Overwatch is the name of it. So, I mean, if you don't know that much, you're probably in the wrong place. So, today I'm joined by Zorfen. And Zorfen, could you just introduce yourself to the viewers who might not know who you are?
Yeah, sure. So I'm Zorfen. I'm a French manager who recently started to manage some teams in Europe contenders this year, and we're gonna start like the season really soon. So I can't wait to show everyone what we got.
Perfect. Okay, so first and foremost, before we go anywhere, who's your main?
Lucio main forever,
Lucio
like
main.
every time. You know the music, really good.
Okay. And do you think there's any, if you could change anything, is there any balance changes you think Lucio needs?
I don't think so. Like the hero is really good. It didn't got any like many changes during like the since Overwatch is out. So I think no, Lucio is good. Like
Right.
I will keep it exactly how it is right now.
Okay. Very good. Very good. So today we got a look at Ramatra, his gameplay preview, and I know you just had a look at it before this interview started. So, what are your thoughts on Ramatra? Do you think he looks pretty strong, or do you think he might need some work before?
Oh, I think we know Blizzards. Like it's always the same thing. The hero is gonna be good for sure. Like
Yeah.
if we don't have the hero in the meta and in the pro plays, that would surprise me. I
Yeah.
think the hero definitely gonna be out like in every single composition soon.
Yeah. I think
Just
so too.
see how. Yeah.
And I think that Nemesis form. I think really it might synergize quite well with your main. I don't think Lucio is going anywhere anytime soon with that. Okay.
Yeah, we're gonna see.
Exactly, exactly. So you're the manager of Angels, Fancy Fellas, and most recently then Triple Esports. Okay, so can you tell me what it's like to manage multiple teams, and how might that differ then to say someone who manages a single team?
Yeah, that's something that can be quite disturbing in the beginning because you have to fit to every team requirements, and sometimes you have to fit for the time zone. Like for example, with Triple Esport, we're mostly based in Saudi Arabia, so I have to work like with some difference, and we have like a Korean player, so it's kind of like I have to be up all the time. For Fancy Fellas and Angels, it's really EU based, so it's easier for me to do with the time. And overall, it's like really good. And I would say what differ exactly from like multi-managing and like single management is that you need to be everywhere at any time, but with everyone. Like you have to be on the same level of commitment for everyone. So that can be hard sometimes because you tend to have more connections in a team or another. But I think like having a single team to start is really good, and even like to keep on long term, it's good for your development, and on the stuff around that.
Okay, I want to just touch on something you said there. You have a Korean player in a Triple Esports. You said, was it?
Yeah,
How have
exactly.
you find? How do you find that? I know in EU there's often a language barrier, but we can often overcome that with English. But I feel like with a Korean player that might be a little bit more difficult. How do you manage that?
You just have like few DMs coming here and there, and you have some luck. I guess the Korean players have a good English. I mean, when we type, it's fine, and then you just wait and that the player will be up to come. I mean, Saudi League is a big thing, and a lot of people are hearing a lot more about it in Europe, but also like in Korea. The last season, we already had some Korean players in this competition.
Okay, so as you said, you are preparing for the upcoming season of Contenders with Fancy Fellas. This isn't your first time working with a Contenders team. I know Angels were in Contenders last season. How has the Tier 2 experience been for you?
Tier 2 is really new because until like recently, until this summer, I was outside of it, so I could just only see what and see and hear like what the people were telling me, or what you can see like on Twitter and other stuff. Being in it is really like it's so much different because you can actually understand what's going on and why. Mostly, like sometimes we had the contender strike going on this summer. From like maybe a typical point of view, like from a viewer, it can be hard to understand what's going on exactly. But from the inside, when you know it, so good. We actually had multiple people in the voice chat. Like I think we were not all the teams, but a lot of people, and it was really good. So I think being in the tier 2 team is good, especially to start to involve more professionally into the scene. So I would say for now, pretty happy to be in contenders, and I want to keep in for the next year.
Yeah,
for sure.
I imagine there's a lot of people who are in contenders very happy to be there as well with you. So, okay, in a broader sense, as a manager, then, what are some of the things for people who might not be familiar with the role? What do you do on a daily or on a weekly basis then as a manager?
That depends, mostly because we have the online events and the offline ones. For the online events, we mostly do like what people know, like the scrim botting for like many managers do it, like from any level. But you have like the scheduling, you have the weekly meeting with your staff and your players, the tournaments here and there also because we play contenders, but we also play some outside tournaments or we do some show match. You have all the things around the mental coaching, the mental part, which I recently started to involve a lot more with Roop, our mental performance coach at Anghells. So that's something we really try to dig in. And for the LAN events, that's, I would say, where your manager role really have the place to really like claim you're a manager. Since you can do a LAN event, then you can call yourself a manager, I would say, because that's a whole different topic.
Okay. What brought you into the role as a manager?
Oh, I mean, my studies restricted me in this, and then I evolved in it. Firstly, I was just playing Lucio with my mates, and then they asked me to cover the role. So at first, I was just doing the schedule and basic stuff, and then I went from teams to teams here and there, and ended up with more and more connections. And then here I am, continuing this every single day. It's really good. So as long as I enjoy it, I keep it.
And just on that there, how important, for people who might not know, how important are these connections to a manager?
It's not everything, but a lot.
Okay.
Like because if you don't have the good connections, you can work a lot, but end up nowhere. So that's like a gun flip. Sometimes you have opportunity because you know people, and for me at least, that's how it works. Like Angels started because I met Avoria in 2021, and then we started the project. We did a LAN. We met new people, and that permits me to have better connections and now work with Fancy Fellas and with Triple Esports too. So I would say just enhance the snowball effect. Like
Yeah,
the more connections you have, the more chances you have to get new opportunities, to meet new people, discover new things to learn, and learn about yourself too. So that's a lot of stuff.
perfect. Yeah. What would you regard as some of the things that make a good manager? How do you set a good manager from the rest?
Oh, that's not an easy question, I would say. I mean, if you start by the fact a manager is not just a scrim bot, because like many people just do scrim scheduling and that's all.
Mm-hmm.
I would say what do the difference? Being available 24/7. Like if you're not available, then I think it's done. Like if you can't react in a millisecond, then it's gonna be hard. And I would say, yeah, like learning new skills every time. You need to not put any limit to what you can learn for the team and just do it. So what makes a good manager is like breaking your own limits in terms of skill, being available, and understand what you're doing. Just like try again and again.
Very good. As a whole, do you feel that managers in esports especially have an undervalued role? You mentioned the scrim botting a couple of times there. What do you think?
I would say it's fair to say it's undervalued because from like a player, let's say a player in Diamond just starting to have a new team, and then they need a manager. The manager is just mostly gonna book some scrims. At least that's what I saw when I started. That's what I did also when I started. So I would say, yeah, it's undervalued, but you really come to become like something when you start doing LAN events or bigger competitions. Like being a real manager, I would say, like you can become one starting LANs or when you come into the tier 3, I would say.
Do you have any advice for a manager who maybe has the opportunity now to attend a LAN event and organize their team into a LAN event, but hasn't done so before. What advice would you give to someone in that position?
Mm, I would say I think they need to take that chance for sure, and to uh, organize things way in advance. Check the budget also if they can have one because it's really important. Like to actually have a whole preview of what you're gonna do and have a plan A, B, C, D for everything you're gonna do. So your players are in a good environment. And if they hesitate, just ask your staff, ask the player. You're not alone in this. You know, it's a team. It's a teamwork. So in the end, yeah, I would say just talk with people, and you will find a good way to do things.
Okay, brilliant. I want to circle back to the path to pro then and just talk about that for a
Yeah.
second. Overall, how do you feel about the current format, the open division into contenders? What are your thoughts?
It was interesting before. Recently, with the latest Open Division, Blizzard tried to implement some new stuff with the contenders team being allowed to play it in the Open Division. And it could have been a good idea, but it got like really not handled in the best way, I would say. And it was a bit messy because like some contenders teams got into some lower seeding than some tier 3 teams. So it was a bit weird. But I would say it's moving at least. Blizzard is trying new things. But I'm not really happy right now about the way it's going on.
Okay.
It could be way better.
Yeah, you're saying that Blizzard are trying new things and that they are, they're experimenting. Do you think this experimentation as a whole is a good idea, or do you feel like they should have maybe stuck to the original plans? Do you think there is room for growth in the scene?
Uh, that's a hard question. I would say it's good, but it's a bit late. Like experimenting on Overwatch 1 would have been a good idea to actually start Overwatch 2 with something done, established, and well working. Because right now we have a lot of stuff that we can improve on. We can improve. I mean, okay, the cash price has been a bit enhanced, but like a bit increased, but not much. It's good because tier 2 need money. Like it's supposed to be the
Yeah.
greatest scene under the Overwatch League. So in order to have the best players, you need them to be committed. And right now it's not doable. Like for some teams, you just cannot live out of it. If you're not top 4, hard to make a living out of just Overwatch, and
And
even.
it,
So yeah.
this is just a question on that. How do you motivate these players that are maybe not hitting the top four and not kind of making a living off it?
Sometimes it's hard because they are motivated by, I think, I would say two things. It's not necessarily the money, but it's more like the self accomplishment, like the fact that they have a dream, they want to get it, and so they stick to this dream. And in order to get it, they're gonna improve every single day. So yeah, I would say we motivate them by the dreams, the improvement, and also some of the LAN events we can do. I feel like we had some great opportunities in France to have a lot of LAN lately this year. So I think we got like four, maybe yeah, I think 4 or 5
Yeah.
events in less than a year. So that was really good, and that keeps the motivation.
Okay. Um, just going on to the goals of the player, then, what are your goals as a manager?
I would say recently, I mean, I had just only one goal, but that changed a bit. Before, I just wanted my players to grow as much as they could. Now I want everyone to grow, like myself included, to grow inside and outside the game. The goal is just to permit everyone to reach their dream or reach their goal. Like even if it's like not really realistic, you just have to try it. So I would say my goal is just to get like the highest I can, and also like put my players the highest they can go. Like everywhere they can go, I will just fight for it and make sure that they can get their dreams done. So yeah, I'd say getting higher and higher and better also, because it's not necessarily about just performances, but also about like other points like learning new skills. So yeah, to summarize this, I would say always looking like higher and to do things in a better way, to grow as a person, as a player, with everyone. It's just not about myself, but about a group of people, and we try
Yeah.
I mean, rise.
Together, yeah. I think
Yeah,
that's a really really honorable goal as a manager that you have this idea for all your players as well. You know, I do appreciate that. I think in a good manager, there's no doubt about that. Okay, so do you have? I know we touched on this a little bit earlier, but just to recap here, do you have any advice then for aspiring managers? These people in Diamond that maybe are just currently scrimbotting or
Yeah. Um, I would say, yeah, just try again and again. You're gonna hit some walls in the beginning. Maybe you're gonna do things wrong, but just try, fail, learn, and just make sure you don't harm anyone. That's just the thing, you know. Like even when you fail, make sure that everything will go in a better way next time, and try again and again. Like it's hard to get results sometimes. You can work your best, and then in the end, the team fail. It happens. Just you continue and you do this again and again, and you enjoy the time with the people you meet. Especially like you're gonna meet some people who at first just gonna be your co-workers, I would say, for some people, and then at the end of the journey, you're friends with them. You meet them in some LAN events, maybe, or like later, you don't know, and just enjoy the journey.
brilliant? Okay, finally, Zorfen, is there anything you would like to say then to anyone who might be watching this then?
Oh, I would say Overwatch 2 is a great game. It has a lot to provide for everyone, and I can't wait to see what Blizzard get for us, like for the next years, and for the pro scene. Like the Path to Pro overall has a lot to grow, so look out for this, and don't forget that Contenders is really really good. If you want to improve in this game, honestly, watch it. Like right now, we don't have a Overwatch League, so that's the perfect timing for it.
Absolutely. Zorfen, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on. I'm so thankful you were my first guest. It's been great. Um,
Thank you.
Thank you again, anyone who's watching. This has been the start of hopefully a successful venture for me. And Zorfen, I wish you all the best of luck to you and your teams then in the tournaments coming up.
Thank you.